respect of why this specific conference is being held today. I give full marks to the media, Sun Media specifically, which raised this issue with us, and the CBSA president and myself had a discussion, and I said, why shouldn't we?
There we go. Public Safety Minister Vic Toews crediting Sun Media with the release of the 30 most wanted list. We're going to keep playing that over and over again. You know, we just love it. Minister Toews, who gave us the credit there, joins us now as we have our Behind the Bar special. Minister Toews, thanks for taking the time to chat with us as we do this special show today on Behind the Bars. You are the man in charge of the prison system, correct?
I am.
So, you've taken a lot of flack over the fact that you want to build mega prisons. Canada is going to have American-style justice. We've debunked a lot of that with Ian Lee from Carleton University, who's looked at incarceration stats and found that we're not incarcerating anywhere near the Canadian or the American level in this country. But I want to ask you about the cost of our prison system as it goes up. Report a little while ago, headline, prison costs soar 86% in the past 5 years. Is that because of new prison construction, which is needed if you're going to keep people behind bars longer, put more people there? Or is that because the cost of daily prisoners going up?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that specific figure. What I can say, in the next 5 years, our costs are going to go up, both capital and operating, at $2.9 billion over 5 years. And that is specifically in response to the fact that we are building additional units in existing prisons. We've announced about 2,500 units, or maybe a couple of hundred more units to announce, so about a total of 2,700. The actual numbers of prisoners have not gone up as dramatically as even Correctional Services of Canada projected. In March of 2010, they indicated there would be an additional 1,400 prisoners by March of 2011. In fact, there were between 600 and 700, about 50% of what they had projected. And the reason is that we're not creating new criminals. We're simply keeping those criminals who take advantage of the revolving door and are in and out of our prison system, which contributes to the costs of policing, contributes to the cost of judges, sheriff's officers, remand centers, and the like. So I can say $2.9 billion, but there may well be savings in other areas, and especially savings in respect of the cost of crime to Canadians personally. That has been estimated to be $100 billion a year.
The cost of crime to individual tax-paying Canadians, $100 billion.
Yes, to Canadian society. So it could be corporate interests as well, but $100 billion, and that's a Justice Department, Federal Justice Department figure. That is an astounding figure. And if we can bring down those costs through intervention by policing and prisons, it's necessary. I know my opponents have said that we just need to simply hire police officers. I agree. We need to hire police officers, and under our government in Canada, there have been record amounts of police officers on the street. But you can't simply say, we're going to hire police officers and then have nowhere to put the extra prisoners. Prisons are built in response to the need of putting dangerous repeat offenders into custody.
Okay, and you're not going to get a hard time from me on building new prisons, because the opposition has been saying, well, we can't be building more prisons. Why are we building these U.S.-style mega prisons? At the same time, they're complaining the current ones are overcrowded, right, and this is creating problems, and violence is going up, so you better build new ones, but don't build new ones. So, you know, I'm going to say build new prisons, and you were elected with a mandate to get tough on crime. But where I would take the government to task on the issue of costs is the average cost of keeping a prisoner behind bars. Let's punch up that screen if we can and look at those numbers. So, adult correctional services, $3.9 billion. Average male incarceration, $99,205 per year, $323 a day in a federal prison. Now, a few years ago, that was a lot lower. It's about 88,000. I'm told it'll be going up to more than 109. It's not the new prisons that would bother me, but it's the cost for keeping a prisoner. what's going on that would be driving up the cost? I know we're buying them Xboxes and big screen TVs, and bureaucrats will defend that, but is that driving up the cost? It can't be that much on Xbox.
No, those aren't the things that drive up the costs. Obviously, there are costs associated with operations that we do, in fact, we have in fact increased some of the services. For example, mental health. As the mental health system creates situations where individuals have run into conflict with the law, they are now in conflict with the law. We're in fact developing a parallel mental health system inside our prison system. And I think that's quite unfortunate. I think we need to have that discussion with the provincial governments and say, look, it's also costing you and your provincial jails money as more and more mentally ill people come into the prison system. We need to figure out better ways to deal with the mentally ill rather than incarcerating them in prisons. So that is a factor, but we've got to expend the money. And I don't apologize either for programming that trains prisoners, that educates prisoners. Education is perhaps the single greatest factor that's going to make the determination as to these prisoners beating the cycle of reincarnation. Maybe it is, but
reincarceration.
Reincarceration.
Yeah. Now, do you think that this will help with the recidivism rate, training them elsewhere?
Absolutely. I've been stressing to the Correctional Services of Canada that they find better ways of training individuals, education. CORCAN, that is the commercial arm. Is there other contracts that we can enter into with departments, perhaps Department of National Defense, refurbishing military vehicles? Some of that is already going on. Learning to build houses. I mean, we really need tradespeople, and yet Correctional Services of Canada was training individuals on these prison farms in antiquated agriculture technology, which really wasn't providing them with the skills that they need to get out into the community, reintegrate. But
and that's something that's been lost as the protests have gone on, is that, keep the prison farms open. They make it sound like you're just getting rid of them. I want you to respond before we
Sure.
we run out of time, to another set of stats. If we can punch those up, Robert. So the budget's going up from $1.5 billion to $3.1, or it'll be 3.3 shortly. Where is the breakdown there? Is this programming? Is this new prisoners? Is it the parallel system that you're talking about? Because a lot of Canadians want you to get tough on crime, but then they look at the costs and say, well, is it worth it? Are we going to get results? Are we going to be keeping people behind bars to keep society safe? Will we get the recidivism rate down?
I believe that we will. And a lot of this money is, in fact, going to accommodate the new prisoners that are coming in. The 2,500 or so units that have been built are, in fact, in anticipation that we may reach that number. We don't know yet. Certainly the projections that have been made in the past have not have not come to fruition. But certainly those units, the extra staffing, and the costs of then training and mental health services all take a toll. But I would say that I think this is money well spent, that if individuals are dangerous, if they are a threat to public safety, I think Canadians understand that that is something that needs to be done.
One last quick question, sir, if I could get a quick answer. Trudeau government years ago said, we need to do away with the idea that prisons are about punishment. It's all about rehabilitation. Do you agree with that, or should there be a balance between punishment and rehabilitation?
Yes. In fact, the issue that was said by his Solicitor General, that public safety should take the back seat to rehabilitation, I think stood the justice system on its head, and the results were higher rates of criminality. What we say and what I say specifically is that the paramount concern of government should be public safety. Rehabilitation of the criminal is, of course, an aspect of public safety, but the individual interests of the criminal should always be second to the issue of public safety. And so I strongly disagree with the liberal philosophy towards crime and punishment.
All right, Minister Toews, thanks for taking the time today.
Thank you very much.